Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advanced, and this game was played in the Airthings Masters 2020, and with the white pieces we have here Daniil Dubov playing spectacular chess. I think he was leading the tournament, and here with the black pieces we have Magnus Carlsen, 5 times world champion and a really amazing player. So this is going to be a great matchup. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Daniil starts with d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6 and knight to f3. We go into the Indian game. We have d5, g3, bishop to b4 and just knight bd2. So we are in the Catalan opening now. Castles, bishop to g2, b6, castles, bishop to b7, and now just going for this knight to e5. This is a standard idea. You want this bishop to come alive, and also doesn't allow the trade to happen. Maybe you can push, and maybe you can get the queen to c2 as well. So there are many ideas here. a5 now, but just queen to c2. We have a4, but now just going for rook to d1. You're not worried about the advancement of the pawn even all the way. Bishop to d6 now, but here just c captures. We have e captures, knight d to c4. A beautiful move by Daniil, just trying not to capture it, and also comes with a tempo on the bishop. So if you lose the bishop pair early on, you might lead to some issues. So here just h6, not worried about trading, and Daniil doesn't either. He goes for bishop to f4 here, and now we have rook to e8, rook a to c1, and just knight to a6. a3 now, not allowing for the advancements of the pawn, and also not allowing the knight to jump in and annoy you. But we have bishop back to f8, all the way back, because you're just trying to defend now, because those knights are looking absolutely amazing. Knight b3 was played, but now just comes c5. Immediately striking in the center. We have knight to f5, and just look at those knights. Those knights look absolutely amazing. We have c captures, knight to c6, and knight to 6 is a beautiful move, because you cannot even get the rook in. If you try to get the rook in, just knight captures, and after rook captures, rook captures, rook captures, you're just down in exchange. So basically a really nice move, trying to just ask where are you putting the queen, because knights are absolutely just driving you crazy here. Queen to d7, but now just comes bishop to h3, and now you're in the fire of the bishop, with these knights taking so much of your space, putting that queen, because here in this position king to h8 was played by Magnus, and this just completely blunders the game. The actual way to play this position was just going for this bishop caps on c6. Those two knights are way too strong for them to be in the position. Even if you have to give up the Catalan bishop in this position, you should do it, because after queen captures, rook captures, you get this position where yes, you are losing a few pawns, but it would be better than a really pathetic loss, because you have to understand that that knight was a bit too strong, and you don't allow such pieces to be in your position, to be in your face. And I think here Magnus would have easily survived and would have actually carried on. But here after bishop to h3, king to h8 was played, but now just comes this knight to e5, and there is just too much. There is just too much pressure here. You have to understand that this bishop is already eyeing your queen. You don't have that many squares for your queen, and you go here, then just a beautiful royal fork comes in, and you're just completely lost. You lose the queen, and wherever you go, those bishops and the knights are going to follow you. Let's say you play queen to c8, looks like a decent move, but now just comes queen to d3, and here with an attack on the queen, where are you putting the queen? If you go here, then you come under the second bishop shadow, and now this check will actually pick it up. But if you go queen to e6, try to say maybe you just have nothing in this position, but now comes the beautiful move in this position. Knight captures on h6, yes, sacrificing an entire piece, and if you dare to capture, then comes the knight e captures on f7 with a beautiful checkmate. Two knights and a queen checkmate. I mean, who would have these kinds of checkmates in their game? But here after knight caps on h6, you could also go for the g captures, sacrificing the queen, and after bishop captures, f captures, you would have some compensation, but definitely it won't be a lot. And most likely Magnus is going to get absolutely crushed with the black pieces. So not going for that, Magnus realizes that he has done a mistake by going for a prophylactic move. Now he has to face the consequences, and he faces it with the rook captures on e5, just sacrificing the exchange. And after bishop captures, we have knight to e4. That knight is now a monster as well, but you don't have a bishop to back it up. Here bishop caps on d4 was played, now just grabbing that pawn. Finally rook to c8, and just queen to d3. So that knight does look good, but that bishop is not at all good. Your second bishop is there trying to protect your pieces and protect your position, and you're still under fire from that bishop. So you have to be very careful here. Knight a to c5 was played. Now those knights are guarding each other and also attacking the queen, so you have to be careful. Queen to e3 now, but now just comes this king to h7, bishop caps on c5. This is what Daniil does. I mean, this is absolutely spectacular. he likes the bishop pair. I mean, he's enjoying the bishop pair. He's absolutely crushing Magnus with the bishop pair, but he understands when to give the bishop pair up because that knight was getting too strong. If you give Magnus a bit to counterplay with those knights, I mean, he would get back in the game, and he understands that. Knight caps on c5, but now in this position, how do you even continue? Because the position looks so amazing for Daniil, but the best move in this position, I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and try and find out the best move in this position. If you find it, you're gonna be really happy because there is only a few moves in this position that gives you an edge. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is queen to f4, and the idea being that you still carry on the pressure. Obviously, you cannot move the knight because your bishop would hang. But here, let's say you try to go for a move like g6 to try and kick the knight away, and wherever you move, you cannot do so by simultaneously defending the bishop and also attacking the queen. So now knight to h4, which is a beautiful piece sacrifice, because if you dare to capture on h3 amongst all the tensions, here comes queen captures on f7, and after bishop g7 blocking, you have to block. If you go back, then this is checkmate. So bishop to g7, but after queen caps on g6, king to h8, and let's say you play a move like knight to f5, still keeping the pressure. There are checkmating ideas. You have to block here. If you block here, then this check comes and you're not surviving for long. So rook to g8, and there are many ideas in this position. Rook can join the game, somewhere along the line other pieces are going to join the attack as well, and you are not surviving this game under any circumstances. But in case that Dubov finds this, but in this position he goes for queen to f3, and queen to f3 is not the best move in this position, but still gives him that edge. This is the second best move in the position. d4 now, just the queen is attacked, and now you have to move. Rook captures on d4. He sacrifices the queen as well, and you cannot take it, unfortunately. If you take it, then just somewhere along the line, just rook captures, and after rook captures, you have to understand you cannot even capture back with the knight because your rook would hang. So the position is really bad. And here Magnus tries queen to e8, but now just comes queen to e3 and asking for a queen trade. And if you trade the queens, you're completely lost. You're already down the exchange. Queen to c6, f3 now, but now just comes rook to e8, queen to f2, g6, pushing the knight away finally, but it's a bit too late. Knight has done its job and he can retreat safely back. Knight to e3, queen to f6, knight to g4, attacking the queen, queen to g7, rook c to d1, and now we are ready to take charge of the d file. And with the knight jumping in somewhere around in the position and the queen getting activated, it's going to be very difficult for Magnus to do anything in this position. But he can still try here. h5 was played, but now just comes knight to e3, knight to b3, and just rook 4 to d3. We have queen caps on b2, finally just grabbing those pawns and trying to create a pass pawn of your own, but now just comes rook to d7. And we have bishop to c5 now, attacking that pinned piece because of the rook and the bishop attacking it. But here just rook caps on f7 was played with the check, king to h6, and rook d to d7. And now you have to be very careful. Unfortunately, Daniil has lost its edge in this position, but still he can. If you're able to force the king to come forward, there could be very interesting checkmating ideas. So here you had to deal with that, but here just queen to a1 check was played, but unfortunately it doesn't work because here king to g2, and you have no follow-up, and you have wasted a tempo, and you have also allowed my king to just be in a safer square. Here just bishop caps on e3 was played, but unfortunately it does not work because here just rook to h7 check, and now king to g5, rook caps on b7, allowing to even capture the queen for the second time in the game. This guy is absolutely insane. And the idea is that you cannot capture the queen. Obviously, if you capture the queen, you're just getting completely obliterated because now just comes f4, and this is just getting checkmated because now the king moves back, and I mean this would be checkmate. So unfortunately you cannot do that. So here Magnus tries rook to f8, but unfortunately rook to f8 just hangs a complete piece, and Daniil happily takes it. Queen captures on e3, and it was on this move, on move 42, that Magnus Carlsen resigned the game, and Daniil Dubov got this spectacular victory against Magnus in just 42 moves. And while he resigned, there is nothing in this position. Whatever you do, you're just getting mated. I mean, that is just very terrible way to go. But unfortunately, that was the case, and Daniil played this spectacularly, first with the knights, then sacrificing the queen twice. I mean, this guy is really playing like Tal, and he's playing like the magician, and absolutely is a brilliant tactician. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel and stay updated because I keep on following these games, and they get lost in the mix. So you have to understand that if you don't stay updated, you're not going to be able to see these games. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all for watching.